Hi, my name is Corey Scanlon with Vorpal Chainsword Games, and I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to play Return to Ravingspire. In order to win Return to Ravingspire, the party must travel to the very peak of the tower into the spire. And once they do that, instead of drawing a normal tower card, they draw one of the spire cards that have the door on the back. These represent the final bosses that await them at the top of the Tower of Ravingspire. Once they defeat that, they've won the game. The lower levels of the tower are represented by the oversized tower cards, which the players will draw at the beginning of each turn. All tower cards have two options. One of them is face the character head-on, or try to evade or escape or do something sneaky, and usually jump into a portal. This may not lead you up the tower, but it could be a good way to heal or gain more loot. Now let's talk about the combat board in Return to Ravingspire. The combat board tracks three different things. The simplest is the tower tracker. Every time the heroes move up a tower level, based on the card that they have accomplished, it will say turn up a tower level, they'll move their marker up the tower. It's pretty straightforward. However, every time they enter a portal and draw a portal card that indicates as such, they will move the foe marker down a level in the tower. Now this marker represents the magics of the Tower of Ravingspire trying to escape the tower. The game can be over if this foe marker reaches the exit of the tower or all the heroes run out of health. That's the tower tracker. Now we have the marching order. The marching order is where the heroes are positioned within the party. If there's a solo character, in this case the Crimson Reaver, she must be in position 1. That's the front of the party, or the only character, and so they're always taking the brunt of any attack. But if there are multiple heroes in the game, then such as Darius the Rogue, then he may stand at position 4. Now each tower card has a different position configuration, and it will tell you whether they're a shielded position or a vulnerable position based on the enemy they're fighting, because the enemies have different fight tactics. In this case, I can give you an example of that. Here we've drawn the Khan's Royal Executioner, and he hits the person in position 1 hardest, and they'll take extra damage each round. But the person in position 4 would take no extra or no less damage each round. All right, and finally, we have the combat tracker. This shows the fight, skill, and charm of any enemy they face. You can track using these tokens, so you don't have to keep track of it with chits or something. As you roll the dice, you'll reduce these until you get to 0, and the character is defeated. To defeat these tower cards, the players must choose a hero. You get to choose your individual hero, and they all have individual skills, dice, and items they can slot. In this case, I've chosen the Crimson Reaver. Now she has her character die, which has her name on it, as well as her class die. There are 3 classes in Return to Ravingspire, and they are Reavers, Rogues, and Rune Lords. The Reaver dice are red, so I've placed a Reaver die in her second slot here. These little cutouts in the battle mat are for convenience, just so you can store your dice between turns and they don't get lost all over the table. Now, the Crimson Reaver's abilities are represented by her battle matrix, which kind of shows you what her skill set is. Now, she's a very balanced character, and she's a pretty good character for a solo game. She also has a special ability. In this case, it is the Crimson Rage. Before battle, she may change one Ravingspire dice to fight. A lot of times in the game, you'll be rolling these white dice, and these are known as Ravingspire dice. Whenever you roll one of these, or one or more of these, she can change one of them to a fight, and that may benefit you in the particular encounter, or that may benefit you in applying to the enemy's battle stats because it'll make them higher on fight, and she's very good at rolling fight. Every party entering the Ravingspire Tower will have 4 Vorpal items going with them, and these are represented by these cards that have a space for the die as well. And these cards will slot into the hero's battle mat for whichever ones they are equipped with. And that way, when you roll these dice, if you roll them all together on a big table, you can say, oh, I have the Vorpal ring, I'm the one that rolled that fight, if it matters for the particular encounter. Now, in a solo game, the hero will be going in with all the Vorpal items, because they're going to need all the help they can get. But no matter how many players are playing, 1 through 4, all 4 Vorpal items will be in the tower at the same time. All right, so we also have a Vigor card for the Crimson Reaver. It has her face on it, and it has their health displayed on the outside. And what you can do with these is rotate them to show the hero's current health. On the back side are the 1 through 8, which means they are close to death. And you'll always be able to know exactly how much health your character has. We also, finally, we have the equipment cards at the bottom, and this shows what she can slot and carry with her into the tower. She's very skilled with weapons and relics, so she can carry one of each of those, as well as in any slot, which all heroes have, to take any card they want. Just to give an example of that, here's the loot deck. Let's say they draw a card. Here's the Dagger of the Serpent Queen. Well, the Crimson Reaver can put that in her weapon slot or her any slot if she has a second weapon she also wants to carry. So that's how those cards are carried in between turns. If you don't have a slot that you can carry a weapon in or an item in between turns, you have to discard it or give it to another player. All right, so that is the basic character setup. As you can see, each card has its own die, and when the Crimson Reaver will roll, she'll roll all these dice at the same time for any combat or encounter roll which she rolls. So let's pretend that we're going to face the Khan's Royal Executioner and have a trial by combat. So we choose the first of two options on the tower card with the battle matrix. Position 1 must battle the Executioner. In this case, he's forcing Position 1 to fight. However, the other heroes may abstain from the battle. Since this is a solo game with the Crimson Reaver, it doesn't matter to her. So let's build this guy's combat tracker. His fight is 3. That's just right out of the gates. It doesn't matter how many heroes are playing the game. His fight is 3. And then it's Ravingspire dice times the number of players. So since there's one player, we go ahead and roll 1, and we get a charm. Now, normally, we would add 1 charm to this. However, the Crimson Reaver's special ability is she can change these dice into a fight. So she could make that into a fight. The reason she'd want to do that is because she's a little bit better at rolling fight than she is at rolling charm. And so this would be advantageous because she can roll critical strikes, which are 2 fight, and defeat him more easily. Now, when he strikes her back, he will strike based on these icons here, which represent the Reavers, Rogues, and Rune Lords, the different classes he hits at different strengths. So if the Reaver was about to get struck by the Khan's Royal Executioner, she would take 3 damage because she's a Reaver, plus 1 for being in position 1. So she would take 4 damage every time he hit her back. Let's go through a quick combat with him to show you how that works. So let's assume that we've got 4 fight is what we have to defeat in order to defeat the Khan's Royal Executioner. I'll take all her dice, and we will strike as the hero at the creature. All right, so she's rolled a fight here, which reduces this by 1. She's rolled the Vorpal Mask, which of course would reduce skill, but that doesn't do us any good. And then the rest of the dice are blank. But this one is a dodge, so her class dice gives her a dodge. That's important, because after the hero phase is the foe phase. Now the foe hits back, and we know that he hits for 4 damage. So she would normally take 4, but because she rolled a dodge, she reduces that by 3 and only takes 1 point of damage. Since we've established that it's only fight we need, we can actually leave these dice here and roll these again in the next hero phase, because they're the only dice that have fight on them. Oh, and we see she rolled no fight at all, and no dodges. So now she's going to take 4 damage. So she'll take 4 damage, the Khan's Royal Executioner. Whew, and then it's her turn again, and that was a rough hit. So let's hope she rolls at least 1 dodge or gets some fight out of this. All right, well, she got 2 fight, so that's something. But she didn't roll any dodges, so she's going to take another 4, which would put her at 7 health. All right, she's going to take another shot at him. Just needs 1 fight to win this battle. All right, well, she got it. She got 2 fight, and she dodged twice this time. So she puts it down there. Now, we have defeated the Executioner, and we look at his card, and we see that it says, go up the tower level. So we would draw a loot card, and we'd see that it's the Dagger of the Serpent Queen, which she can slot in her weapon slot. So she would take that and continue her adventure. However, she would be cautious because she's down to 7 health already, and that's only after 1 card. All right, so let's say that she didn't want to fight the Executioner, and she wanted to escape and jump through a portal because she knew he was that tough. So we would read the escape section. You flee for a portal, but are lassoed around your neck. All players must roll a fight in a single attempt or take 2 damage. So every second option always has some kind of event you must take in order to reach the portal to escape. So she's going to try to roll a fight. She made it, so she doesn't take any damage. And then it shows draw a portal card and you would heal too. Traveling through the portals often heals the heroes slightly because the Vorpal items are attuned to the various mystic portals in the tower. She's at full health, in this case, so we don't heal at all. But we do draw a portal card. When we draw this portal card, we immediately move the foe marker down the tower track. There's only so much magic jumping we can do before the tower takes over the rest of the realm. So we move that down and then we look at the tower card. Here we've encountered the Town of Purgatory, one of the expansion Old West cards. So we've traveled to an Old West town and we have to adventure around there before the Vorpal items will eventually pull us back into the tower. It says page 31. So we grab the portal book and we turn to page 31 to read the town we've gone to. The desert stretches in all directions, sans water, sans life, sans sanity. The heat forces objects to waver in your vision, or perhaps it is reality wavering. You think you see the bleached bones of a town cracking in the distance. It is the Town of Purgatory. Each portal card has 3 different paragraphs on it, which we roll a Ravingspire die to determine which one we encounter. In this case, we encounter paragraph 46. So we'll turn to paragraph 46. The saloon beckons. Its light and air and sound strain against the weathered boards that skin it. You enter to piano music, but find no musicians, just a charmed box alight with music. The bartender greets you and offers you a tour of the saloon's upstairs lodgings. Do you take the tour, or do you saddle up to the bar? Well, I don't want to be rude to the bartender in this Old West town, so I'm going to choose to take the tour. Now, if there's ever a disagreement with a party on what one they take, and it's an even disagreement, then the player in position 1, as they are the most dangerous position, gets to choose. So we'll take the tour. We'll go up to outcome 46. All right, we take the tour. You are shown the humble rooms upstairs and decide to rest and recover. Each player may roll their hero dice once per loot card they discard to the innkeeper. Well, I only have 1 loot card, but I am at full health, so I wouldn't mind just resting in the inn. But let's say I discard a loot card if I wasn't at full health, then I could roll my character die, and I would gain 6 health in this particular portal. And then I would draw another portal card as I left the saloon, and the Vorpal items took me back. They can also return you back to the tower. And that's how the portal works in Return to Ravingspire. Thanks for watching the tutorial for how to play Return to Ravingspire.